The increase in walkability and mobility in Shivajinagar constituency. What active steps you are taken to ensure this?
So it's a conscious effort because my constituency is the central business district, and people crisscross the whole town to go from one part to another. There are various modes of transport in their private vehicles, public transport, and all that. So anybody who wants to catch a public transport needs to walk towards that. So you need to have a proper footpath, walkable footpath, which have quality enough, and irrespective of the age, people should walk. So it was a conscious effort to develop footpaths, and today we have good number of footpaths and good footpath network. Having said that, still lot of things are yet to be done, and we are working towards it. So today, comparing other constituencies, we have much better footpath and larger network of footpaths.
Now, the smart city roads were supposed to give walkability a big boost. But after the initial tract of about 5 roads, which was done by the Jana Urban Space, there has been a dilution in the walkability of these smart city roads. It has been narrowed down, and then people actually, unless you have a very wide footpath, people tend to walk on the road and not on the footpath.
Yes, of course, there was a big pull and pressure to have a uniform, bigger footpaths and the road size to be uniform so that it's not wide and not low. But our psychology is like you need to have a bigger road because you have huge pressure on the roads. So wherever our limits, we have tried to make a compromise and not compromise too much on the road, not compromise too much on footpath. Having said that, there is a lot of pressure on the roads, the infrastructure. We have more than 1 crore vehicular population too. So we need to somewhere balance it. The ideal situation would be have wider footpaths, wider enough for people to walk fearlessly. But we have tried to balance it in our constituency. I think we have a fair width footpaths, almost in 40 roads where you can walk freely. The bigger roads I'm talking about, not the sub-arterial and ward roads.
A lot of research institutions, policymakers, mobility activists have been saying that the priority has to be on public transport. The money has to go there. But still, huge investment is being made on car-friendly roads and tunnel roads. So why tunnel road when that kind of investment can buy you some 10,000 buses, which Bangalore badly needs?
Now we are introducing 4,500 electric buses. We can invest 5,000 more buses. But the kind of congestion already on the roads will not allow unless you decongest the city through your PRR, through your tunnels, through your elevated corridors, through having double-decker metro as well as road on the same flyover where the metro moves. So many other measures. Then you introduce buses, then you introduce tunnel, everything will work. If we say that tunnel will be a wasteful expenditure and we'll introduce only the buses, still that those buses will not move. So you need to see it holistically, which our government is trying to do. And we have simultaneously started working on PRR, which is shelved from last 25 years. We are working on tunnels. We are working on elevated corridors. We are working on creating double-decker network. Wherever the metro moves, there will be a road on the same flyover. So we are working on different aspects where we will ensure that in coming days, Bangalore gets decongested and then add on more and more public transport. Create more and more footpath networks so that people can walk towards that public transport. Try to do that end mile connectivity infrastructure. So only then this whole issue can be solved. Otherwise it won't.
One last tricky question in the sense, Karnataka government, like many other state governments, has a huge revenue potential from vehicular tax. Now, one side, everybody is saying that reduce the number of private cars and vehicles, other vehicles, SUVs and two-wheelers. But they are earning a lot of revenue from these vehicles. I think there are 13 RTOs in Bangalore cumulatively are bringing in thousands of new vehicles every month. Now, how do you break this cycle?
Yes, there will be taxes earning from the transport of new registrations and all, but I don't believe that the government will encourage people to buy more or discourage people, because people are not in the control of government. We are a democratic country. Buying and owning a car is an aspirational thing. Anybody who has nothing, earns something and comes and buys a bike, then wants to graduate towards a car. It's an aspirational thing for every Indian family, right? That's why there is so much sales of the car. Having said that, that aspirational thing which is being bought in the form of a car cannot be taken everywhere every time, right? Why it is taken? Because we have not given him enough alternate modes of transport which he can safely use and come back, and which works out much cheaper or less expensive for him. Then they will definitely park their car in front of the house as a trophy in the house, and then they'll move around in public transport, right? So here we need to work. We cannot discourage people not to buy the cars.
But you can discourage people from coming to the center of the cities. We have multiple CBDs in Bangalore. Will the government at some point of time introduce congestion tax, for instance? And even the parking policy has not been executed on the road. Why is it taking such long?
These are things which needs to be looked into seriously, of course. But Bangalore was in a condition where it is too neglected from last 20 years in terms of major infrastructure to decongest, bring in more public transport, and then discourage people from using their own transport and introduce all these things. I think laws have been passed which are not in effect now. Those have to be brought into effect, and a lot of work has to happen. And fortunately, things are moving. Maybe today we will not be able to see the results. In next 3 years, we'll definitely see what's happening around. So things will happen and happen for good.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.